Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Being Real. It's that time of the week where we meet and just come and have a conversation about what we are going through as young people. Today we're having an interesting topic. I think a topic that affects almost every one of us. Every one of us. I mean, from when you're a teenager, even when you grow older, still it affects us. I mean, dating, that is. And as always, tonight we have a panel that will be assisting us to understand this issue of dating. How can we navigate it as young people? And I'm going to allow the guys to introduce themselves before we go any further. We'll start with my friend in Zambia to introduce himself.
So hello everyone, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Panji Chilembo, and like my friend has just said, I'm from Zambia. Greetings to you, everyone.
Thank you, Panji. Let's go to Zim. Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Kumlani Ndlovu from Zimbabwe, Bulawayo.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kumbu. And let's just get to Cameroon, just for control. Cameroon.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly, and I'm Cameroonian, from Cameroon, but presently I'm in South Africa studying here. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you so much for joining us, girl. And we have, I don't even know. Okay, the last one, who I have not called, may she introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm great. My name is Seshi Tambo Ndiweni. Originally from Zimbabwe. I'm Zimbabwean and I'm Ndebele. But I'm currently in South Africa. I'm studying in South Africa. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, accepting the invitation. You are really a great spot. You know, I always say to the guys that come here that when you guys accept our invitation, you don't know what happens behind the scenes. Like we jump up and down. It's really a privilege to have you on the platform. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's just start this conversation. I think before we go any deeper or any further, let's just establish from you guys on this issue of dating. What is your understanding of dating, courtship? If there's a difference, please help us. Please explain if there's a difference between dating or courtship. But I want to understand from your perspective, not this thing of the book definition and you know, but just want to understand from your perspective what is dating. Let me start with Seshi. Seshi, what's your take?
Okay. What I understand from dating, I think it differs from maybe culture, religion, and context. Even if it's not necessarily the textbook definition, but it differs according to who you are, what you believe in, the background you come from, and the society you live in, because those might be a bit different. So
Okay.
I believe there's a difference. Dating for me and how I understand it is just two people who are interested in each other, or let me say one person might be interested in the other, and then they are trying to, get the other to like them. So dating is just about two people who are interested in each other, and then they're attracted, and they hope to be in a love relationship, if I can say. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting perspective. They're just interested in being in a love relationship. Nice one. Kumbu, what are your
Have
thoughts?
activities.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello. I will try by all means to keep it ready.
Okay.
I will say what personal I think dating is. I think dating is
Hello?
having someone. Do you hear me? Okay. I think dating.
Sorry. A
having
minute,
someone-
Kumbu. I think it's social. Let me just try to do this before you continue. Okay, you can continue.
Okay, I was saying personally, what I will say, I will take it from my personal view that dating is having someone maybe from different sex. If I'm personally, I'm a boy having a girl whom I'm interested in, then trying to make love with her. I think personal, that's dating. Then I think you asked two questions. Yes, there's a difference between dating and courtship.
Okay. What's the difference, if I may ask?
I will try again to keep it real. I won't say maybe cultural or what, but I will say what personal I think the difference between dating and courtship is. If I have a friend who is a girl, maybe I'm trying by all means to make love with her, then maybe fine now. She said she loves me. Then after that, we get into that relationship, which I can say is dating. Then if now we're trying to make things seriously, then we involve parents, friends. I think personal to me, that's courtship.
That's courtship. I want to be clear with you
Yes.
when you say make love. What do you mean by that? I just want us to be on the same page. Lest we miss you. What do you mean when you say dating, make love? What do you mean?
Okay. I think Stacey said something. She said dating is where someone is trying to make love. She said that, is it?
Someone is
So-
interested in someone, like they like someone.
Interested
Yes.
like someone.
Yes.
Then after that stage, now we are getting into courtship. After
Okay.
that stage, I can say it's dating. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So if I understand you well, is dating is when perhaps a person just indicates their intentions about this person, maybe they are friends and trying to get to know each other and whatnot. Once they agree to
Yes.
be in a relationship and now they involve family, friends and whatnot, being serious, now that's courtship.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we are on the
Yes.
same page here.
Okay, can I say something about that?
Yes.
As some they will say, you can date many but court one. So meaning, so meaning when dating, you can maybe date one or two, or maybe more than two people. But on courtship
Okay.
now, court one.
Okay. Banji, what's your take?
Yeah, and, some interesting comments, and I think I like their perspectives. I think for me, I'll start with courtship. I think for me, courtship is the initial stage of a relationship, and dating, like others have said, is whereby you are trying to see if you can find a relationship or a friendship with someone, whichever way you call it. The only trouble is that in most cases, what I find is that dating normally people have a large latitude of opting out, but courtship is more concentrated. And yes, you can opt out, but because of the seriousness, it could be that by the time you're courting someone, you thought through stuff. And so when you're opting opting out, you need to explain yourself. While dating, you can just say, we didn't match, so
Okay.
I'm out. But for courtship, you have to explain. Well, maybe you don't need to explain to the whole world, but you need to have a reason why you're opting out.
Okay. So it's more commitment based. That's what you're saying.
Yes, it's more commitment based, and I think for me, if you look at it even from a biblical perspective, when Joseph is betrothed to Mary, it's a serious issue there. To an extent that someone gets pregnant, Joseph is like, how am I going to expect? I think if you are dating and then someone falls pregnant, well, it can hurt you, but you'll be like, anyway, I was trying to know them. But if you're courting them and that someone misbehaves, a man or a woman, I think of the seriousness, it requires some explanation.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Kelly, there?
I'm going to concentrate on the differences, right? But it has to be biblical, right?
Okay.
My answer has to be biblical because that's who we are. We're Christian. So anything we do must be based on the Bible and what God really requires of us, right?
Yeah.
So, like Seki said, it depends on the culture and the society in which you grew up in, and and most people consider dating as something casual. So let's just see how this thing goes. If I like you, or if we connect on a certain level, then we proceed into courtship. But then they see courtship as like I don't know if it's Kumbu who said it, as commitment, that you're more committed to something. But then I don't know if I should emphasize that this dating thing, to see how it goes, is not really biblical. It's more of what society thinks. But we as Christian, like I was just thinking about this analogy. Sekle actually taught me how to bake. So there's this thing of you must have a recipe, right? You must have a certain amount, a certain measurement of what you're putting into the cake. You must also know what kind of cake you want. So I think before you get into a relationship, it's not like seeing how it goes. Like we don't just put 3 eggs and then we put the baking powder and then we just put the flour, like just mixing it all. Then let's just see how this cake goes. We want to see what will come out of this cake. It has to be more purposeful. So the definitions according to people may differ, but for we as Christians, it has to be purposeful. You must know that, okay, I'm getting into this thing for a reason, not just to see how things go, but because I have seen a future with this person. So I think that's my take.
Okay. You're bringing something very interesting there. You're bringing purpose. Maybe let's go deeper and understand what then is the purpose of dating, of courtship. I'm asking this because I want to know if we clarify the purposes, if it's wrong to date, and if it's wrong to date, because you're highlighting that as Christians, dating is not a thing and stuff. But so I just want to understand if it's wrong. What is the purpose of dating and what is the purpose of courtship, so that we can understand if dating is wrong or we can do it. It's harmless type of a thing. I don't know who wants to go first on that.
I think I can. I think both of them are all right. They're okay for me. The problem is, like someone has mentioned, to stay for dating, I think it has been misinterpreted. Because we have this option of, like we feel as if we can just put that at will. But then what that has translated into is that many people have ended up being broken in this whole scenario. And I don't think that's God's ideal, because even if God would love us to have our own preferences and choices, He has His own way of guiding us. And if you look at the way the biblical dating was done, it's not the way it's done this time around. However, I think the dating that is happening now is needful. And one of the reasons why I feel it's needful is because there's a sort of disconnect between parents and children right now. So most of our parents don't know what we are going through. So to just choose for you, it's very difficult for them because of maybe the cultures we grow up in, the schools we attend, and all those things. So I think dating is needful. However, I think there's need for it to be more guided, to say this is the proper way of dating, rather than playing with each other, breaking each other's hearts. I don't think that's the whole instance. Like we said, dating should just be getting to know someone. And I feel getting to...
Sorry, Panch, you can continue.
And I feel getting to know someone, there are many forums that can provide you an opportunity to get to know someone. You don't really need to be excluded. You can know someone in a group setting. You can know someone who, as individuals or any other meeting. But for courtship, it's more serious, like everyone has said. And yeah, I just wanted to give that.
Okay. Setli, what's your take there? You are muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry for that. I'm just experiencing some glitches this side, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. My take is maybe I can take a bit from my experience. Back in my day when I was a teenager, when I was still starting to experience this whole thing about dating, I remember when we were growing up, we had certain lessons that we were given from the religious background that I have. And we were advised that dating is okay as long as you stay within certain confines where since we believe in dating God's way, all the way from a young age, you were taught that, okay, if you have a friendship with a guy, you're just basically trying to find out if you are compatible. So the purpose for dating is to kind of like find out the compatibility with someone. If you click, if I can put it in that language, if you click, you like the same things, or yes, you're different people, but then you understand each other. So for me, from my understanding, dating involves such things where you're just getting to know someone, and I believe it's not wrong. But then we were also advised that dating should not be physical. Dating should not be physical because the moment when we involve physical things, they tend to cloud the judgment. You won't be able to really know if I really love this person, or it's now bodily passions that are talking more than you acknowledging that, okay, we click on this certain level with this person. Even spirituality. In the afternoon, I was listening to a different presentation on unequal yoking. And all those things matter. Those are the kind of things that you look into when you're dating. Are we equally yoked or are we unequally yoked? As you learn those things from a young age, depending on what age you are starting to date. Because from my culture, from my background, I remember we were strictly advised not to date when we were really young. But then other people, they think it's fine since it's just a friendship. But I remember me now, we were not allowed to do that. So, but then when you start to date, there are certain confines that you stay within as you get to know that person. And those are the things that might build into a courtship. So you are taught to build it right all the way from dating so that it can lead to courtship. I don't know if that's
Hear you guys.
palatable.
I hear you. But I want to hear Kumbu and Kelly's perspective before I say what I want to say. Kelly, please.
Okay. I think it's a matter of definition now, because you agree with me that once you call dating, especially in South Africa or anywhere else in the world, there must be feelings involved. So what our spiritual leaders always tell us, like our disciples, they're like, why don't you just get into a friendship with this lady? Like Seki said, don't let them even know that you have intentions about them. Just know about them so that you see no feelings come into play, no touching, no nothing. Get to know if the person is equally you. What this person's goals, like how serious are they about God? See if your level in God with them and theirs, if they are the same, if you guys can click like your interest and stuff, that's where you get to discuss. So I'm saying that it's a matter of definition, because when you say dating to me, I would think about what goes on around me, and it's not the same. So I'm like, okay, guys, friendship, you get to know that person will not even know, the person expose more about themselves to you than when you say, oh, let's get into a relationship and let's date. By then I'll be like, oh, this guy or this lady likes me. So they're going to put on their best behavior. But if it's just a friendship, they're just going to be like, okay, I can do or say anything to this person. Then you will know about that person. So after that friendship, after a couple years, like a year or two, then you see, oh, this person matches all my expectations, or like she has shown me everything about her. So why don't we get into courtship? Like that was how I was taught. So like we're saying the same thing with safety, but if she says dating somewhere else, they'll be like, oh, it's a romantic relationship. So that's my take.
Okay. Kumbu.
Okay, interesting. You guys are saying interesting things. The last time I said you can date many but court one, but the way you guys have put your stuff is like maybe you'll be, what can I say? Maybe you'll be having multi relationships, but that's not. Personally, I'll go back to my definition before I say what I want to say now. I think dating is just having a friendship with someone. Stacey said something interesting. She said, sometimes when dating, that's where we will see that maybe you can love that person, something like that. I think when it comes to dating, it's just having a friendship with someone. Along the time, you'll see whether you can be in courtship with that person or not. So I can date even more than two people.
Okay. So actually, you guys were saying the same thing at the end of the day. So you guys are saying dating is more like friendship. There's no exclusivity in it. You have a group of friends that you are entertaining. But when I say entertaining, I don't mean like you are dating them. You're getting to know them. That's my understanding from you guys. Then once I've checked Banji and Kumbu, I think Kumbu is the one, then I focus more on Kumbu to get in a relationship. I mean, in a relationship with them, which is courtship, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my understanding of what you guys are saying. Oh, okay. Like Kelly was saying, it's just definitions playing around. For me personally, dating and courtship is the same thing, If I don't consider it as, if I'm saying I'm dating someone, I'm actually courting the person, period. We are serious, we're not playing, type of a thing. Outside dating and courtship, are we just friends? It does not have any kind of any definition. That's just to me. You guys have been highlighting something though, in that there's God's way of dating, God's way. I think Sethi has highlighted at some point that God's way. I'm not sure if she was, but she can expand. But you've been highlighting God's way. So I just want you to let's expand the God's way. I've heard you guys saying we have been taught. I don't dispute being taught, but we have had our own experiences. When I say experiences, I mean our journey with God and Him exposing us to how He wants us to date. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So I want us to bring it home to our experiences of dating God's way. You can also bring in what you've been taught, but I want your experience more than anything else. I don't know who wants to go first.
I think
maybe I have.
I think for me, what you're saying, that's what should have been making sense. There should have been friendship, courtship, and marriage. The trouble with dating and talking from my own experience is that it then gives you more room to just become unserious about things. However, on the other hand, friendship gives you a privilege to know someone without any attachment. So you know someone for who they are. I can tell you, I'm more close to my friends than I'll be close to, let's say, a girl I'm interested in today, and then I say I want to date this girl and know her. It's very difficult to know a person overnight, even in, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 dates. But friendship, people have very few things to hide when they know that they have no strings attached. But when immediately you declare your intentions to someone, I think it's just human behavior. Even me, I do it. If I know that I'm interested in this person, I put on my best clothes, although I'm not talking about clothes. But yeah, I'll put on my my best. I'll be at my best behavior. But there are things that I feel marriage can't hide. And because marriage can't hide things, it's better you know about them even before you marry someone. Yeah, but the problem is that dating gives you that illusion because we pretend a lot. And I do that. If that I'm interested in someone, I mean, and sometimes it's not because you plan to pretend. It's because of the way the society has structured us. Like you have to be romantic. But if I'm dealing with a friend, I'll be nice, but I'll say, look, now I'm tired. I can't lift your thing.
Exactly.
I don't know if you get what I mean. Because I know that she has to be romantic.
Okay, I hear you. Kelly.
Yeah. Okay, what question am I answering right now? Is it
Okay, let me just remind you. You guys have been highlighting the God's way. As we begin, we're just saying our understanding and whatnot, but now we just want to know what's this God's way that we're talking about. Let's expand on the God's way.
Okay, so we're going to be real, ne?
Yes, please.
Personal experiences. Okay, so let me just put it out there that as soon as I got born again, as soon as a guy approaches me, I kind of know if you're equally yoked or not. Like just what comes out from your mouth, you'll be dropping very subtle hints, and then when the things you say, the things you do, there are sometimes that they'll show me things on their phones, I'm like, whoa, this is not a believer. I should not even get into deep waters with this one. So, okay, let me just start. First and foremost, my I don't want to say priority, but what I mostly capitalize on is purity, right? This person has to be pure because I know that is the first characteristic of God. He is pure and he's holy. And he says, be thou holy as I am holy. So it's one of my, main things. So the question was, what are those things, right? That mm-mm. Please repeat the question again. Let me not
So
mix things up.
what I'm asking is, what is God's way of dating, of courting?
Right. God's way of dating, God's way of.
Yeah.
Okay, so I started okay when I said, okay, as soon as you approach me, I know. How do I know? By certain things that you do, right? Because how God created us, let me say, I'm a manufacturer, right? And where is this thing? Okay, let me take my peanut butter. What? I want to use it for illustration. So God says, okay, you see this container, you're supposed to open it here. Okay, you're supposed to, this is the right way to use it. Open it before you reach what is inside. But there are some people that look at it and say, you know what? Why don't we just poke a hole right round here? So we just take everything out. Or why don't I just smash it on the floor with my feet? At least the things that are inside are going to come out. But that's not the way God. When God says, I am your creator, I created you, I have your best interest at heart. It means there's a way I want you to do this thing. I just wanted to lay that down. Now, what is his way? He says, I created you for companionship and for friendship, sort of. So, first of all, God's standard is that friendship. And that is how you know if you're going to be a companion to that person. What I look for is God's kind of love, because there's the world's kind of love and then there's God's kind of love. And I always take my definition biblically. This is a personal experience. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not keep a record of wrongs. Does not iniquity, like purity is my thing. So that is God's way of doing things. Secondly, like Sexy said, unequally yoked. Once I hear some kind of things that you say, I look at the company you keep, I look at your goals. How do they match mine? If your way of raising kids and mine, like they don't click, I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why you can be because men, they're attracted by what they see. So when they see something they like, they come, right? And that's when they want to get to know you. So you must not get into a relationship with that person without knowing some basic things about that person. Like I said, purity, goals. Do they match God's standard? Are you there and then he's down here? It's not a bad thing, but I'll talk about something else later when we're talking about I wrote a question down, what should happen during courtship? I'll talk about that 3-part thing later, but for now, this is what I think is God's standard, because that's what he writes in his guidebook. Live your life like this. So that's what I want to follow, because he knows what is best for me. So,
Oh, okay. Certainly.
Hey. Oh, okay. You mentioned that maybe we should incorporate our experiences into what we have experienced. Oh, okay. I think, Mina, maybe just like most of my friends, I won't say for everyone, I'll just say for most of my friends, I think I did things the sort of like the reverse way, where you're first supposed to date and then you court. So when I look back, because you mentioned something like okay, we're not personally for you, dating and courtship are the same thing. If I'm dating you, that means I love you and we're looking forward to good things. You get it? So I think at a younger age, when I started this whole relationship things and being interested in someone and being in a relationship with them, I think what I used to do was basically I would just jump into courtship with the person because I'm hoping to marry this person and I think I love this person. And I start introducing that person to my friends. I start introducing them to my sisters, because, like as girls, even if I don't extend it to my brother because I come from a culture where you don't just show up with a boyfriend at the doorstep. There are steps to be followed. You don't just show him to your mom or your dad or like your brothers, because when you get to that stage, that means you're serious, you want to marry. So, but basically, I'll show him to my sisters. The moment I show him to my sisters, I know that, okay, this guy, I want to marry this guy. So, but now as I have grown, I think in terms of age, I've also grown in my faith. I want to believe. I now do things differently. Now I think I date now. I don't just court, I date. I get into friendships where I know that, okay, I think I want to, I'll be knowing most of the time, like, okay, 100%, I'll be knowing that this guy is interested. But I don't just want to jump into a relationship with the guy. I want to know him. But unfortunately, that thing has sort of like backfired most times, because that's where you that's where you discover that, okay, where I was is still where most of these guys are, because when he's proposing, he just doesn't want a friendship and to get to know you. He feels he already knows what he likes and he just wants a relationship with you. But my fear now is, back in the day, okay, I want to just make this confession. I want to make this confession, but I've kissed before. I know I'm live and people can hear me all over the world, but I have kissed before.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
So I was in relationships where I would feel comfortable. I would know that, okay, I want to stay pure until marriage. I don't want to sleep with you, but I'm comfortable to kiss you. So now, as I've grown older, I'm in that stage where I know, okay, I don't want to sleep with you and I don't even want to kiss you. If you are not the man I am to marry. I've come to that stage. So for me, the way in which I define God's way now, back then, I would just define dating God's way as in, okay, I'm not sleeping with this guy. But now, my dating God's way is also putting into play certain standards that I believe help me to keep, Kelly kept on talking about purity. They help me to uphold my purity standards. And because the Bible speaks sternly about fornication and adultery. So I try by all means to avoid things that lead me to those stages where you are having impure thoughts, you are, so those purity standards are now stained. But back in the day, like, I like this guy, we kissed, you'd be telling your friends, we kissed, and it would be something that's celebrated, it was just a celebration as girls. But now it's a bit different. So from my experience now, I think I date. Now I date. I definitely do not want to be in a relationship with someone that maybe, even if I know you like me, yes, you like me, but do you actually know things that might scare you about me? Maybe things that you don't like, because everyone has those qualities where I like something about you and then there's things I don't like about you. So I want a guy to get into that stage where he knows, okay, I like this, I can't handle this, and then they make a decision. I don't want him to discover all those things when we're now in a relationship and we're sort of like coating in quotes. So I'm avoiding that. So that's my experience. I'm doing things the reverse. I used to coach, but now I date.
Okay.
That's me.
They're very interesting. Hey, Kumbu.
Yeah, interesting. We have a serious problem. Maybe the problem comes from definition. If now maybe I have my own definition of dating, if I try to date someone, then maybe I buy a present, maybe it's a small present to that person. then I become so good to that person. Then the problem that I will have, that girl maybe will ask me, what are we now? What are we? We are friends. What are we now? So I think we have a serious problem when it comes to definition. We define dating in a different way. As we are defining dating in a different way, we have different feelings when it comes to dating. But now I will say maybe courtship in God's way. This is really broad. Then God said it's not good for a man to be alone. I think if now you feel now we are a man, not a boy, that's where you can start now courting. If now you see now I'm ready to get married, everything now is ready, even if you are 19, even if you are 20 or 42, if you are ready, if you feel that now we are a man, I think that's where you can start to say now I'm courting. But when it comes to dating, I can date even if you're young, but courtship in God's way, I think when we are ready, you feel now we are ready. Yeah, that's where you can court.
Okay. I hear you, Kumbu. You guys are raising interesting stuff there. You say something, Sihle, and Sihle, that's really intriguing, that you're doing things in reverse and stuff. You no longer do things the way you used to. I have friends. I know people who have met guys or guys, ladies, and the guy was just clear, I want to get married. This is my intention. And they got in a relationship, and as we speak now, maybe they are married 10 years in marriage or something and whatnot. So I'm just sitting here, I'm thinking, aren't you closing doors for good things? For good things. I'm just thinking, because I'm running away from being prescriptive about how things should be, because every situation that happens in your life, I mean, it's different and people are different. So obviously you might have made mistakes because of courting before and whatnot, but you are more older and more wiser. But then perhaps you should think of being open-minded. Don't just be restricted. Friendship, dating, and whatnot. I'm just thinking out loud. Do you want to say something, Sihle?
Okay.
Let's say
Sorry.
something.
Sorry. I want to say something. I want to say something. I want to say something. I think
Okay,
I don't know whether it's a question or it's a comment to what Seth said.
Okay.
He said now she is now mature, she's now old. Now she do things in a different way. Now she date. She first date. But sometimes beware, don't date too long, because that good guy will just he will go. So don't wait, because now you're saying you are old, so don't wait.
Kumbu, I do not agree at all.
Don't wait.
Thinking, should I answer for you, or you want to take this one?
Oh, okay. Let me just maybe mention something, then you can just also answer for me. I think maybe if I can say, I met a guy last year who wanted marriage in that manner. Just comes up, says, I want to marry, and I want to marry you. Come 2021, by December, I'll be marrying you. Just like that. All right. All right. But then remember I said sometimes these things depend with our backgrounds. They depend with
Mhm.
how you've done things. Mina, I gave my personal testimony that that's how I've been doing things, and I've seen that okay, it doesn't go in line with what I want at the end of the day, or it has not been good for me. So I think I now want to do things differently. So I wouldn't necessarily say everyone should follow that way of
Okay.
doing things. It's not a prescriptive method, but I think it's working for me for now, because I've gone through certain processes personally, and I have come to believe certain things. Because okay, actually
Mhm.
what interests me, if I can mention, is that in the Bible we don't really see dating much. What we see is courtship
Mhm.
in the
Yes,
Bible.
yes.
Certain characters who, and we even see arranged marriages. So
Mhm.
all those
I
things,
love
there are
that.
some people who actually skip the whole dating that we're talking about. They also skip courtship, and then they just jump straight into marriage because their marriage is what is arranged. But
Mm.
for me personally, I'd want to differ. Okay, Kumbu, you mentioned something about not dating for long because that guy might just go and go. I think I want to say, if okay, I've come to be in that space where if he wants to go, he can go.
Mm.
Mm, mm.
If he wants to go, he can go.
Mm.
I met another guy last year also. Was it last year or the year before? It seems like he was in a hurry. He just wanted a relationship. You know, like those people who just want a relationship. There are
Mm.
people actually, I think I'm not against relationships. I'm not against the whole courting thing for you to be in a courting space. But I just don't want people who just want to jump in the in that
Why
stage,
rush? Yeah.
all in the name of because people are scared to be single out here, guys.
Yeah.
It's like singleness
Mm.
is this bad thing. It's this
A
Yeah.
COVID.
disease.
Yes, that needs a vaccine.
I love
So
it.
yeah, so I think I'm in that space where I'm not scared to be single.
Mhm.
I'm waiting. I'm hoping
Upon the
that
Lord.
God might show me the one that I can just, because I have dated, I have quoted in this casual manner, in this serious manner, and I've seen that most of the times there's things that I need to change there. That's why I'm saying I'm doing things reverse, because I would be in a
Mhm.
relationship. I don't know the guy. I'm getting to know the guy there, but already I'm telling myself I'm marrying this man. I love him. Anyways,
Mm.
that's that's what I'm saying. Maybe let me throw it to Kelly because
Okay.
she has something there.
No, I think Patrick should speak. He hasn't said anything about dating, courting. So we should give him the floor right now before I come in.
I was going to say, and I was going to pick up from where Kumbu left, uh, in that you should not date for long. Now, I don't want to be misquoted, but what I think from my own experience, and I feel it's a bad experience on a guy's side, at least for me, is that, for example, if I approach any one of you, and you know that you don't like me, but at the same time you are going through, I don't know what I would call that moment, maybe stress, maybe loneliness. You just want to use me as a spare tire. At the end of the day,
You know?
Yeah. Gosh.
you're not going to end up with me. So if you're not interested in me, I would rather you tell me upfront to say, look, my friend, you are too dark. I can't go out. Can't go out. But the problem is that when you yourself entertain me for a very long time, and at the end of the day you tell me that no, we are not going anywhere. What have we been doing? What are you doing to me?
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
oh,
And you see,
Yeah.
has a ripple effect in
Mm.
that I would also want to go out somewhere where I can pour out my frustration, not out of love, but so that I can get over something. And once I'm over it, I'll leave. I'll break another person's heart. Like,
Mm.
seriousness should be outside here. And we should not be victims of each other's stress, breakups, financial challenges, whatever challenges you're facing, I think we should just say that, look, let us maintain friendship. That's why I agreed with Les at the beginning to say the difference is not that much. The line is very thin between dating and courting. If we can start with friendship, and you know that Punch is broke, but is that? But is broke. If you don't want, at least you are not making it out of just excited romance, but an informed decision that you're making. So I want to agree with Kumbu that this dating thing should not be wrong. If you want to say no, don't keep someone waiting for 3 years for you to say yes or no. You already know the answer by the time someone. So just tell.
I agree. Can I come in before you come in, Kelly?
Okay.
Can I come in?
Okay. Okay.
Can I come in?
Yeah,
Okay.
please, I'm just going to write something down.
I agree. Ladies have this tendency of just keeping guys. Because
Friend zone.
we like the attention. That good morning. How are you? Have you eaten? Stuff like that. We like that attention, but at the expense of someone. And I like what Panji said about how when a person comes to you, it does not take time for us to know that I like this person, I don't like, type of a thing. It can take, in 3 months, in 6 months, yeah, that's abuse, guys. That's abuse. No, seriously, that's abuse. We must let these people go. Let them go. Set them free.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's give Kelly a chance, Kumbu, before you say something.
Okay.
Okay. Concerning what Kumbu and Panji just said, and I'll come to your comment on people who just, get into a relationship and just marry, and then they're fine. I'll come to you later, but for now, Panji, like Les said, right? Ladies liking attention. I will not agree. Like some of you just bore our lives. I'm sorry, but there's a guy, legit, that he knows him. Jesus Christ, it has been 4 years. I'm not telling you lies, and I state it categorically. You know what? And he's a believer, strong believer. I'm like, guy, you know what? This thing is not going to work. Like, I have sat down and I have thought about it. Panji, you said we shouldn't keep you there for too long. What if it's the guy who wants to be there? Like, you don't friend zone people, just tell him, you know what? We can only be friends. I've said it so many times. I've screamed, I've been harsh, I've calmed down, I've said it in prayer, I've fasted. I beg in God's name. It is not going to work because I've seen this thing. Like when I say, I'm like, this is not the person I want to end up with. But you tell them, they still, want to tag along. So in that case, what do you do? And Panji also said, okay, don't keep them for too long because they're going, no, it was cool. They're just going to go away. If a guy is really serious about, he has seen something in you and he wants to take this thing long term, I'll say no matter how long it takes, he's going to be there. I'm sorry, I have an experience as well. No matter what I do, this person is still behind my back because for him, he has seen something that he wants to pursue. I'm like, you know what? I have to focus on my work. Like after studies, I need to get a job. I need to take care of my parents, and like I state things down. These are my goals. Like we've been friends for like 2 years now. And he's like, no, why don't we get married here and here? And I'm like, guys, these are my plans. If you don't want it, please leave. So tell them there and there, you know what? This is how I want my life. I've scheduled my life. If you feel okay, then, but if you want to convince me otherwise, then it's fine. Okay, let me address this comment before I give her the floor again. You said people who marry on the spot, like they just get into a relationship and then they get married. I would be scared. I think that person's a serial killer. You want to kill me and sacrifice my family.
Oh,
like,
right.
like I'm so paranoid. Like so when you come and you're just pressuring me. I'm like, you have something to hide. You don't want me to know something about you. That's why you're worrying me into marriage, Abi. So for me, I'm going to pass on that one. I know the age on us. Like most of the time, my mom is like, "You're getting too old. You're getting too old. What is wrong with you? By your age, I already had 2 kids." I'm like, "Mom, you know what? My generation is not your generation. Those men were honest. These ones are." So I'm going to end it for
Okay.
now.
Before Kumbu
Okay.
comes in, let me just ask a question. I'm looking at the time. You're running out of time, ne?
Yeah, true.
What I like how the conversation has been going. But I want to let's get real and stuff now, deeper. What are the challenges we've established what dating is, but what are the challenges that we have experienced in dating? Like you've painted this nice dating courtship and whatnot, God's way, and but let's bring it to reality on the ground. Bring it home. What are the challenges that you guys have faced with regards to dating with all the standards that you've put in place? And you're saying we need to work on these standards. Am I clear?
Can I go
Yes.
first?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Panji. Okay.
I think, and I'll talk about dating in my 30s compared to my early 20s. I think in my 20s, what I had was time. So I knew that even when I like this girl, even if it doesn't work out, I'll find another one. But the challenge, that was the advantage for me, I think. The challenge was that I didn't have money. Now, not that I have money, but I think I'm.
Hey, disclaimer.
But whenever you talk about this dating stuff, it appears it's in a fast track, so to say. So family will be like, "Oh, when are you getting married?" But I've just known this girl. I don't know if you get it. Like society is expecting a lot from you. And sometimes I think I personally, and I've stopped now, but I personally, I think I've made some decisions based on what the pressure that is coming from outside. Because there's a lot of pressure. Everyone is expecting to do something about something. But I feel we should be given time to know each other, to communicate, become friends, grow. Marriage, from the way they say it, I'm not married, but from what they say and what I've read, it's a lifetime commitment. And I believe God's word to say it's a lifetime commitment. So there's no need to hurry. Most people look at me right now, even when I go to church, instead of me going to pray in peace, it's coming to greet to ask you, "Hey, Pastor, how is your spirituality?" He's asking when I get married. No, that's not the reason I'm here. I'm to seek God and to find it, but all that pressure. So I think they should give us time. I was joking with a friend of mine that I wasn't there to pressure them. They should not also be here to pressure me. This is my life, I'll leave it there. Although at the same time, I think some people take too long. You can't be dating as if you are studying medicine. So you have to, it has to be an informed dating.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
It has to be an informed dating.
Mm.
You need to have targets and goals, but at the same time, you need to understand to say, where do we want our dating to go? For example, me, I'm scared of poverty. But these decisions, I'm thinking, and no, I don't think, I think most guys, that's what scares them most. I want to marry you, but I don't want to start begging for obvious things. Like, there's no, some things need to fall into place. But I'm not a lady, so I can't speak on the ladies' side. But I know for guys, for me, when I hate for poverty, and I feel God also loves the fact that I need to be stable. Yeah.
Okay. Kumbu, what challenges have you experienced regarding dating, courtship, whatever you want to call it? What are the challenges?
Okay, I'll try by all means to be real. First of all, the reason why we date or the reason why we court is because we want to get married. Marriage is spiritual. Spiritual things are spiritual descent. So even courtship is supposed to be spiritual. But we have a serious problem. Maybe we have serious problems as young people. I have also faced serious problems when it comes to dating or courtship. I think we put ourselves on too much pressure, especially maybe church or society. If maybe you are a girl, if you are 25, if I'm a guy, I'm more than 25, or I'm on my 30s, people always put pressure on us. So at the end, we are just rushing, going everywhere. At the end of the time, we find ourselves at 40 maybe without getting married, because now we are just rushing because of pressure that we are getting from your family or church. So I think personally the challenge I have first is maybe pressure. I can say pressure. It's not peer pressure of getting married.
Okay, so more or less you and Panji are in the same boat.
I'm afraid of poverty again.
You're also afraid of poverty.
Yeah. I'm afraid of poverty, so I can't just rush.
I think I've had that from my close friends, guys and stuff, or even the books I've read, and that guys don't want to rush into marriage until they're stable, especially financially.
Yes.
So that they want to know that they can provide financially for their families. Okay. Kelly, your challenges, man, and in courtship, dating, what have you experienced?
Okay. The first thing is, as you get older, right? You meet, like, all your mates would have gotten married and stuff. So you have the ladies who have gotten married and they're already having their 2 kids. And then panic. You start panicking. Oh my God, I'm getting old. And okay, like right now, I'm approaching PhD, but there's someone who I came to South Africa with. She's on her second baby. And recently they just relocated, right? And this is my age mate. So that's one thing, panic when it comes to this dating thing. Okay, should I just rush into a relationship because I see other people getting married and I want to do that too? Forgetting to know that God sets the times and the seasons for everyone. And when it is your due season, he is, like I always say, this man made you. Sorry, God, it's not a man, but he made you. So he has other thing. Okay, at this time, if you follow my will for you, you're going to land, in that space I want you to be, how I planned your life. Nextly, societal pressures, and this starry-eyed guys, because you're older now, and then there's someone who thinks you're younger because of probably the way you look. So they come and they're very immature and stuff, and you're like, So that's a challenge for me because they're immature, firstly, and they have all this, their ideals and mine don't just match. So that's really a challenge for me.
Okay. Certainly.
Okay. I think one of the challenges for me, besides the ones that have been mentioned, because I'm also experiencing those, would be as a girl that grew up in Zimbabwe, in Bulawayo, I've come to see that there are differences in culture, both like societal culture and even church culture, if I can say. So I've come to see that unequal yoking doesn't only exist between someone who is in the church, who is of the faith, and someone who is outside. I've come to realize that unequal yoking also exists within the church, where you are unequally yoked, but you are both in the same church. So I think that for me is something which I'm seeing more real than any other thing that I'm experiencing right now, because not to say everyone is in that bracket. Allow me just to say, of the guys that have approached me while I was here in South Africa were in the church. I would say almost like a quarter or half of those guys, even when they're in the church, even when we have teachings that say a believer should not be partaking of like things that make you lose your judgment easily, like alcohol. I've come to meet guys who like are fine with drinking even when they're in the church, and I'm not okay with that. I am so not okay. So you might tick boxes as a guy. For me, you're ticking here, we're in the same church, you're ticking on this, maybe we share the same interests. I'm an adventure lover, I'm an outdoors baby, I love the outdoors, I love water. So we might also share that. But the moment when we come to like the teachings on how we should keep ourselves, I don't know where to really classify things like drinking and partying. But I've met guys in the church who club, who drink, and that has been a challenge for me, because you'll be seeing that, okay, this guy is ticking boxes. Why do you have to drink? I mean, like, you're ticking boxes. And then you're ticking the right boxes, but then there's just this one really horrible one about you. So I think that also unequal yoking in the church is now an issue that I'm seeing, that this thing is real and it's a challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting, guys. Let me see. For me, I think I'm in my 30s, guys. But because some people think that I'm younger, that I'm not 30. So the challenge that I have is the younger guys think that I'm their age. Younger guys. The Gumbus, just next door. The Gumbus think I'm their age. The ones that are my age, they think I'm younger. You see, so we have a problem because I am not fitting anywhere and the likes. So that's my chronicle, if I would say, in this dating thing. But let me just throw a question. Would you guys date, for the guys, anyone older than you, and ladies, anyone younger than you?
Yes,
just for interest.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Why, Panji?
I think the question here is not whether the lady is older than you or not. I think that way, for me, we've been asking the wrong question. The is whether you are compatible, whether you're
Yes.
is going to honor God, and whether you are going to spend your entire life together. I mean, you can marry whatever you call your age, you still divorce if God doesn't like it. And I've seen is where the ladies older, they have lived forever, they look more happier than those ideal marriages we talk about. So I think we've been asking the wrong questions. It's about we started asking real questions and true questions so that we can have meaningful friendships and relationships.
That's a very interesting perspective. But the ladies were like, you know, so I just want to hear why wouldn't you date a younger guy, Kelly?
Oh my gosh. You mean, like, okay, my younger brother is like, he's like a year or two younger than me. It's like an insult. I'm your big sister, crazy. What is wrong with you? Go find your age mate to play around with. Like, okay, there's some guys that are mature. When you meet them, you talk to them, they're actually 22, but inside their head, they are mentally all right. But then you meet a 30-year-old man and he behaves like a baby. That's crazy. But then, please, younger guys should not approach me. There was one who was on my case and he was 7 months younger. But just the fact that I am, probably, let me say, I'm a 1990, probably. I don't want to give my real age. Only I'm in 1990 and I was born in May 1990. Then this guy was born in January 1991. So that's like 7 months of difference. I'm like, you just insulted me now. Like, go away, please.
What's the issue? What's the issue?
I just don't like it. It's probably what I have always, it's always been there in my head. My mom and my dad, it's like an ideal for me. Like 5 years older.
Okay.
Sorry, Punches.
Okay. Can I say something?
A minute.
Okay.
A minute. Kumbu.
Okay.
A minute. Let her finish and then you'll come in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's like it was an ideal for me. It's like when I see examples I want to follow, right? So I'm like, oh, look at 5 years and 7 years older. Wow, that's nice. There's even a time I was like, I want my husband to like 10 years
before you finish.
So okay. Sorry, Panji. Let me take Panji's question.
What if you prayed and God showed you a man younger than you by a year?
Okay, can I say one maybe in a minute?
So that I comment at once.
Okay, if I said earlier on, marriage is so spiritual. If it's spiritual, then God has showed you that person who is younger than you. What are you going to do? Do you doubt God's power upon your decisions or what? Because if marriage is spiritual, courtship should be spiritual. So maybe God will give you someone who is younger than you.
Well, please stop saying that because okay, so there's something that our disciples always say: deny yourself and follow God, right? It's not your ideal, it is God's ideal. Like I'm always all mouth and all, you have to be obedient to God. So like Panji and Kumbo have said, if God actually has designed that I marry someone younger than me,
it is well. It is well.
I will need a screaming room to scream every time he tells me to submit. It's actually a thing with me. I'll find it easier to submit to an older guy than to someone younger. I'll just need to have a room that will go scream. When I'm done screaming, then I come out like, right, I'll do it. So
it sounds like you're saying your decision or your idea of not dating a younger guy is based on your background, your cultural, is it perspective, or how values, how they were
Grandma T
nurtured
saying
in you.
something.
They were
Yeah.
nurtured in you.
Yeah.
I think it's that. Am I correct to say that?
Yeah, true. Because this older guy may not even okay, let me say it again. God has created us in a certain way and put like some things in us. So that older younger guy may actually have, he's like a square peg and I'm the square hole, if I can say that. But then the older guy is the round peg and I'm the square hole. So he knows, like, okay, this person, I know that you want him to be tall and dark and this and that. He should be this number of years older than you. But then this is another packaging with a different age. But then he suits you. So I'll have no other idea than to submit to my first Lord, which is God. Is going to be very difficult. I'll need to pray every day about it, but I'll try to live with it.
Grandma T says, age shouldn't stand in the way of you marrying your soulmate. The age issue is another social dimension. I totally agree with him. But you know what I've realized is when you reach your 30s, this thing of age doesn't matter. It don't matter. I tell you.
Oh my
God. While you're in your 20s, you are picky. Like, he must be 10 years older.
He must be this and that.
And 30 years, when you reach 30, reality sinks in. Cecily, what do you have to say? You've been quiet.
Well, I would want to say I understand where Kelly is coming from, because I think maybe her societal background, where she grew up in, might almost like be the same as where I grew up, where we were told and taught that as a woman you tend to age faster than a man, you tend to mature faster than a man, so you don't want to look like his mom by the time you've had 2 kids or 3 kids and you are married to Kumbu. Kumbu is still looking
I'm telling you.
And you don't want to be looking like he's going with his mom, because he'll even be embarrassed to stand with you in public because you're now looking.
That's where the cheating starts.
So that's what we were taught. But I would also want to say, I'm open-minded, if I can say. Okay, based on where is it based on? It's not really based on where Les is coming from. I think I don't have pressure with age. I really don't have pressure with age. I'm in my 30s also, but what's the pressure? Anyways. But where I'm coming from with the issue of age is we don't necessarily see anywhere in the Bible where age is stipulated. You know, like there is no prescriptive thing about he has to be a year older or 10 years older or what. So I think I'm more open to that. I think I would want, if he's to be younger or if he's to be older, it's the same for me. He has to be the head. And I can actually be able to submit, and I you know, like it has to be natural. I have this favorite pastor of mine called Pastor Skhumbuzo Dube. Him and his wife, they're in a childless marriage. They don't have children, but they have like one of the most beautiful marriages ever. I want a man that I can just be friends with. Like that is very important for me. That companionship, that compatibility, whether you're younger or older, it's fair and fine. But I want to be in that space where you and me are cool. Like you and me click. You get me? Okay. We click in social terms. We click even God's way in terms of like, you know, our biblical standards, our beliefs. We click. I don't want to be in that space where I'm doubting, where I'm regretting, because you know, like it's one of those things that are a bit different in society that you choose at the end of the day, which might actually come back to bite you, and they can be a point of weakness in your marriage, in your relationship, if I can say. So if he's younger, he still should be able to be the head for me, from God, and I definitely say amen. Yes, Lord. Younger or older, I'm
Amen.
happy.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, man. Okay, let me clarify. No, Ceci. When I say that we get into your 30s, the younger age does not, you don't. I think you get to see reality in a sense that you become open-minded and see this is how things are. If I
Yes.
thought I had a perception of how things should be, that's not how things are actually. So you
Yes.
dramatize to your reality, not saying that you are living under pressure. No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. Pressure shouldn't be the source of your actions. It's
Yes.
no. Imagine
And
being
grandma
married.
had,
Mhm.
sorry, you can continue.
No, you can say it's okay.
Oh, I'm saying, and grandma had a very good point there when she said it shouldn't keep you from meeting your soulmate. I mean, this whole soulmate thing, okay, in the Adventist church, we have a prophetess, Ellen G. White. There's somewhere where she says many are mated and not matched in
Yes,
marriages.
I
And
love that.
and that is a cause of so
Yeah,
much despair for so many people. So if I'm to be
true that.
mated with someone who's a year younger and he understands me and it does not make it a pain for me that I'm a year older, then I'm so happy. That was very true.
Wow. Thank you for that. Last question as we wrap up. Does anyone want to say something before I ask this question?
Yeah.
That point that
Yeah.
you wanted to say. Okay.
Wait,
Um,
does Kumbu want to go first? Is it
Panji
Kumbu?
also wants to say, I'm not sure. Who wants to go first?
Okay,
Let
I had Kelly and Selly, they were saying maybe one thing. They were bringing something interesting. Okay, they were
Okay.
saying submission. They were worried about submission when they're talking about someone who is younger. Their concern was on submission. I think when it comes to submission and love, God said, husband loves your wife as Christ loved the church, and wife submit. I think he said something which is not easy for us human beings to do. So when it comes to submission, God will help you to submit. Let's not worry about that. If God said men loves, he knows that as men we have a problem of loving. So he was emphasizing that, knowing that he will help us. He said to women, submit. He knows that women have a problem of submission. So when it comes to submission, don't worry about submission. God will help us on that.
Great one.
Painful.
Great one, Kungu. Yeah.
Painful.
Great one. Yeah, that's a great point. Panji.
I think there are more serious things in this life than age. And you notice that when the Bible is trying to address issues, it will only tell you that love covers a multitude of things, a multitude of sins. And for me, that's why it's just, we need to go back to the basics. And the basics are that we need to begin and end with God. We need to run the show. The problem is that right now, and I appreciate that we have discussed the ideals. No, they should be more stable. They should be more. It's okay, but I think the greatest ideal that we need to do is to go back to the basics and say, what is the blueprint of marriage? I think it's Ellen White who says that will this marriage increase my
Usefulness.
sphere of will it take me to heaven? She comes up with three basic questions that I think are needful when you're looking at marriage. She doesn't talk about guy order, is this guy richer, although economic empowerment is also important, but she's asking questions that are very fundamental to this relationship issue. And at one point, I started believing that people in bad marriages won't go to heaven. Now, I think I can say it right. I think people in bad marriages will find it difficult to go to heaven. Because if you're a nagging partner, it becomes very difficult to pray, very difficult to have devotions, very difficult to concentrate. So that's why it's very important for us to go back to the basics and ask ourselves these fundamental questions. This person I'm trying to unite my life with, how are they going to influence and affect my life?
Great one. Okay, Kelly.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, it's going to be a long discussion again, but I'll just let it be for myself and Safety, our personal discussion about this soulmate thing. Is it that God has made just one person for you, or that was the question I wanted to ask.
Okay.
This thing about a soulmate, is it, I'll say he'll clarify later, but let me just comment on Panji. I'm not going to defend myself, but I'm going to say, I'm going to say there's something called self. So this is a part of myself. I'm like, Lord, you can have all this. You know what? I've sacrificed all this once on the altar. But when it comes to this age thing, please don't touch it. I beg. Leave this. I'll do any other thing you want, but please, when it comes to my family and this age thing, Lord, please.
I deeply respect your view, and I'm not against it, but I'm just saying that your view, it's okay as far as it goes, except it shouldn't be a standard.
Okay,
yeah.
I get you.
Okay, you've asked a question, but before we answer that, Grandma T wants to say something.
Okay.
Grandma.
Hello.
Hi, Grandma T.
Sorry, I'm cooking. Kumlani invited me. So I'm listening to the conversations you're having are really good, and I'm listening to the issue of first. Let's tackle the issue of age. I'm just wondering whether maybe because of societal pressures about what a husband should be, because the perception in the African culture is that even the woman, you're always being labeled, oh, too old, oh, he married an old woman, that kind of thing. Love, is pure. Love doesn't know any age. And it could be that as a girl child, when you're fixated on age, could it be, this is just a question I'm posing, could it be that actually you're looking for a father figure in a husband?
Oh my
Wow. Hey, wow. Wow. Hey, wow. You're hitting hard. You're hitting hard.
Have fun, do whatever you do, laugh, joke, have things in common. And if you're looking for someone who, maybe even in terms of time and era, you probably couldn't relate to the same things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 10, 15 years older. I mean, even if a song plays that reminds him of something, would you relate to it? Just kind of plays radio, history, So the issue of age, coming to the issue of age, I've got a friend of mine whose husband is 7 years younger than her. And this was their second marriage. And they've been married for a long time now because their daughters are, the two daughters that she has from this second marriage are now, they're well into their 20s. They're probably you guys' ages. I think one of them just finished medical school a year ago. So she's about 25 thereabout, and then the older one is probably 28. I tell you, when you look at those two, the thing about how you look at, okay, can you guys tell me how old I am?
50 something.
48, 47.
45.
From your
42.
Okay, I'll tell you the truth, I'm 60. Right?
Wow.
Whoa.
right? I'm 50. So if when I get dressed and I stand up there, a 40-year-old can want to go out with me.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And that's
mhm,
the truth.
definitely.
And that's the
Yeah.
truth. So a person who's 2 years younger than you, when you're still toddlers, when you're still growing up, they are younger than you. When they've crossed, 25, 30, absolutely. Look at the people you went to think about the people you went to school with right now. And maybe follow them on their, social media or on their profiles. Look at them, even the ones who were 2 years younger in your class. Physically and how they look. Some of them look as though they were 2 classes above you.
Yeah, that's true.
The important thing is the maturity of the person. We
Yeah.
all late bloomers in life. Like one of you said, someone is 30 and you know what? They're behaving so childish. They haven't got it up there. And yet a 27-year-old, he's got it all figured out. You have 15-year-olds now in school who tell you what they want to become. Who tell you that my career path is this and this is what I'm going to do. And by 20, I'll have done this. By 25, I'll have done this, that. You've got a 25-year-old who doesn't know what they want to do in life. So people mature differently. Others bloom whenever, others never bloom, regardless of age.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that the focus should be real, and also at times some people would have tried, like the guys were saying, look, if I date for too long and you keep me waiting for 3 years, then what's that all about? I mean, if you should get to know a person, like you rightly said, that at least in 3 months' time, you've got an indication of where this is going.
Yeah.
Although some people's behaviors come out later.
True.
Yeah.
So there's that pretend, stage and phase and all of that. Some people's behaviors, come out later, they become abusive and all of that. And this is when you notice that, marriages end up breaking up. But I think, that friendship period where you know somebody, you get to know them and you do some background checks, you get to know, their family, the kind of, their siblings and their this, that, before that vested, that emotional interest. The thing about emotions, they cloud a lot of things. So once you're already emotionally invested, there's not so much you're going to see that you need to see. And when you're emotionally invested, even when you see the writing on the wall, you are going to overlook it. So there's those aspects of, okay, where am I? How do I, what's my boundary? How do I protect me and look into this objectively and find out what other people know about this person, like objectively first, before the emotional investment, because that one is going to cloud you and you're going to want, you're going to be planning in your head, seeing yourself in this wedding gown or even for the guy walking down the aisle. Meanwhile, this girl you've been dating for 3 years, in those 3 years, has got someone else in mind.
Yeah.
They can't make their mind about you, but they don't want to not have someone who they call, their person. And so they'll keep you on a string, you'll just be there, not knowing where you're going, whether you're coming or going.
Oh, that's terrible.
But again, the most important thing about being very, very comfortable with self, everybody, what you've experienced, whether you've dated or you've kissed or you've done whatever you've done, everybody goes through that phase. And when you've gone through that phase, what you then need to get to, you need to get to the point where you yourself are comfortable with yourself, with the person who you are. Once you're comfortable with your person who you are and you have your non-negotiables and what you can negotiate, this guy, he doesn't put the toilet seat down. Hey, so what? Do you know what I mean? Okay. And so once you have your non-negotiables, you know exactly what you can tolerate in that person. Maybe there's a kind of quirkiness or a little limp in their leg, but as a person, as a human being, they're a lovely human being. So what? You can live with it. And what are the other things? If you're so fixated on time, you're not allowing, because like you rightly said that, God's time, is best. He knows the person, the time, and the one you are going to find. And, I was listening to someone 2 days ago who was saying, I was so fixated on dating, and I dated and dated, and that person is in Harare, and one of the things this person said to herself was, "I will never marry a pastor." Also, so it was looking at the lifestyles of church pastors, church wives. Guess whose wife she became? She became a pastor's wife. But when she stopped, and looked at her life and said, you know what, I keep being led and thinking this relationship is going to get, to something. This relationship will, materialize. And I keep getting disappointed. When she stopped and decided to look at self and consider what she wanted to do, and considered, you know what, if I want to go and get a master's, or I get a scholarship to Ireland or to Scotland or to wherever, I will go. And she started doing those things. She started focusing on herself. And when that marriage came, she was already, I think she was already about 33 or thereabout. It just came. It just came. But she knew, she found peace within herself. She was comfortable with who she was. She had not stopped educating herself. And she had decided that, okay, if I'm educated and the person I meet feels uncomfortable with my education, then they're not for me.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay. We hear you, Grandma. Thank you so much, Grandma.
Thank you.
All right,
I think we needed that wisdom, guys.
Yeah.
We needed that wisdom.
Yeah.
Let's be fool ourselves and thinking that we are on the right lane.
You want to catch up with me? You want to go where? You want to do your PhD? Carry on.
Yes, Grandma.
You will find your doctor.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Grandma.
Okay, then bye-bye.
Bye, Grandma.
Thank you.
Guys, okay, I wanted to ask a question, but it's time is up. Just in 1 second each, just want us to wrap up. We've spoken when we began about dating, courting, and we highlighted on the ways God's ways of dating and whatnot. I just want you to tell me, in the experiences that you've heard of dating, courtship, whatever you call it, guys, do you regret the relationships that you found yourselves in? And if so, why?
Yes.
I would-
I will say
that
yes.
was a very strong yes.
Why? I have noticed one thing. There is no
We can't
happiness
see
outside
you.
God's law.
We can't see you, Kumbu. It's dark.
I'm trying to. Okay. How is it now?
Okay, still dark, but it's fine. Okay, continue.
Okay. I will say yes. Why? There is no happiness outside God's law.
Okay, do you mind expanding? Why are you saying that? What happened for you to come to that conclusion? What did you? Okay, maybe I'm going too deep. You don't want to go there.
Okay. Okay. God's children, go with your principles, because if you go alone, you'll regret getting to such relationship. So briefly, I will just say there is no happiness outside God's law. There is a lot on it, but because of time, I will just say that. Maybe next time I will elaborate.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Panji?
I would say no. I have an opposite perspective from him. I don't regret, and I don't mean the relationships were okay, but I feel first of all, I have this idea of respecting those people that I was with. I feel at that time I was making a decision that I thought was the best. And if it didn't turn out okay, normally I don't like dealing with the person. I like dealing with the issues that are hand. They may not be the best for me, but they may be the best for someone else. So in that regard, I try to respect people from that perspective, to say, even no matter how bad they are, and here it's not even an issue of being Christian or not, well, even non-Christians, I believe all marriages are sanctioned by God at the end of the day. Because once you marry someone, even if they are not Christian, God does not allow you to divorce, meaning God respects marriages. So I think, no, I don't regret it, except I'll just say that over time, with more information, with more guidance, with more praying, you find yourself in a relationship that you are more happier, more comfortable. And I feel I'm more comfortable now, more happy, more relaxed. I can think, I can plan, and all those things. So I'm happy that God has led me to this point. But looking back, I'm thankful that God made me learn through those experiences.
Awesome. Seshi?
I think I also go together with Panji. As I said, that I was doing things the reverse. I was just dating people that I wanted to marry, sort of like courting. So I think I basically dated people that I hoped I would marry. So I'm fine with all of them that I dated at that time. And yeah, they were good experiences. It's just that they were not the ones, if I can say, that God wanted me to be with. But yeah, I'm fine with the experiences. I learned a lot.
Kelly?
Both hands regret. Like, I regret. Like, there was one. Okay, let me confess something, right? So back at home, I live in a very conservative home. That means my mom is a stalker, meaning she checks you. If there's a way she can put a tracker on your back, she's going to do it.
Wow.
Just to get up in your business. As in, she trained us in such a way that in our heads we're like, you only have to meet one person, date that, but no, not date, court that person. As in, you people get into a friendship, you court, you marry that person. As in, that was in my head the whole time. So as I came to South Africa, I'm free from my mom. So I met this guy, and wow, he's yellow bone, and he has a car, and we're in the same level. I'm like, oh shit, mom, I've met the person I'm supposed to marry. But then the fear still comes, like the background training and stuff. And though we don't get into a relationship, this guy makes me cross so many lines that I regret. As in, back in the day, I used to read a lot of romance novels, so my head was conditioned in a way. Fantasy is my thing. I can build a fantasy from scratch. Give me something. Just give me anything. I'll build a mansion for you. Like, so he made those things came to life when we were kind of friends, but then we crossed so many lines. So that was regret. I regret now, because after that, like Panji was saying, that God surely puts those people in your life for a reason. And God surely put this guy in my life for me to meet him, because I didn't see anything. Like when you're born again, you get to realize the kind of person you were in the past and what God wants. So at first I was like, I'm a very righteous person. This or that, I was well brought up, so I don't need God and stuff. But this guy, like I think God put in my life for a purpose. And that's where I met God, because I felt we didn't sleep together, as in no sex or anything, but I felt filthy, because all touching my arm and stuff. I'm like, you know, just some. And I will go scrub my arm, like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, I have a lot of regrets. But then when I look at what God did, like bringing me to see, oh, you have this human tendency, and if you don't rely on me, then you're going to fail. So that was the only thing I can call a relationship. Till now, I'm scared to get into one. So there's like nobody updated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, what a conversation. Wow, you guys, it's really been interesting. Just want to comment on what you've been saying about regret as we close. I think there's a saying that says, or a quote that says, we should not regret our experiences, but we should rather look at the lessons that we had to learn from those, life experiences. There's a book I've read on courtship. I forget the author. Maybe you can remind me. The author who wrote I Kissed Dating Goodbye. What's his name? Joshua Harris.
Joshua what Harris?
Yes. Joshua Harris. Then there's another book that he wrote after I Kissed Dating Goodbye. He says something very profound. I think it's profound for me. He says, God will allow us to get into these relationships, even though they will not work out to be marriage. But in those relationships, he's teaching us lessons that will prepare us for our marriages. I liked what you said about perhaps you thought you were righteous and whatnot. And then God perhaps is revealing to you that, no, you're thinking you're righteous, but you have issues that you need to work on as a person before you get to that point. If it's purity issues, work on, I'm exposing you to yourself so that you work on yourself. If you're impatient, I mean, we say love is patient. If you're going to get it in a marriage relationship and you're impatient, you're going to frustrate your spouse. Then God says, go through this relationship so that when you get to your marriage ultimate relationship, you are patient. So the outlook of our experiences on relationship needs to change. See them as, not saying we should just throw ourselves in any relationship and say, hey, no. Obviously, we pray about this. There are people that have said, I prayed about this relationship and God led me. I saw him leading. But you find yourself breaking up with that person and you ask yourself, but why did you allow? But he had a purpose because he wanted you to learn something. So I just wanted to comment on that. As we close, thank you guys for being a great panel.
Thank
It's
you.
been awesome.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
And Grandma T. Wow. Grandma T. Yeah, I think we needed that. So everyone at home, thank you for watching, for taking time out. And please subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Next week, same time, different panel. Good night.
Bye.